Hey guys, I'm Jack here, the trainer from Down Under, and this week I'd like to tell you about what's happening in this week's Friday's Deeper Dive. So get yourself a cup of tea and sit back, watch it on your big screen TV and enjoy. I hope you do, because this week I've been talking about bananas. What happened with my client this week as I was training him this week and I grabbed the banana and innocently I opened the banana and something happened to him was just amazing. I'm going to share what happened because after 4 decades of training people, I was completely shocked. I'm in the gym and it was just really it shocked me. And it reminded me of the hidden associations we have with food. Some are secret. Some foods, like if you're addicted to ice cream or if you sneak that chocolate bar in on the way home from school, or you might even have, if you look down in that particular drawer at work, you've got some hidden stuff in there that you eat and just consume. And that's what we're talking about here in the men's movement and today in the deeper dive. Because it's the same principle. It's not what's in the mouth, it's what's on the mind. And you shouldn't have to eat food or avoid foods or have feelings of guilt or anything like that. So today I'm going to take you through what happened to George, and we're going to go from the sinking feeling, that feeling where you're feeling really stuck and sinking, to become the thin kings. We're going to go from the sinking to the thinkings, and then we'll get right through to the 5 phases of the movement. We're going to become the kings and the tall kings. All right, so last week, here we go. Last week I'm at the gym, right, and I said to the guy, what's happening? He's almost vomiting. He's gagging. He's saying, "Get the banana away from me," And then I realize it's what's in my hand that's causing this drama. Probably the exercises too. But I ask him, "What's going on?" Because I've trained guys for over 4 decades. I've seen a lot, but this wasn't about the banana. This was genuine panic. This was definitely he was in sinking. You know, he was avoiding this banana. I'm not sure what was going on. So I had to work in and try to figure out what's going on here with George. So I asked him, I said, "What's happening, George?" And he says to me, he says, after I got rid of the banana, he says when he was 5 years old, his mum packed him his lunch in the bump of a bag and packed him his lunch, and he gets to school. Now his mum's done something really loving. There's nothing wrong with what his mum's done. Most of us have these things where mums give us food. And she's packed it. And the teacher, she thinks, well, she's doing the right thing. Your mum's packed the lunch. You've got to eat this banana. So she stands over him, as good teachers do, and encourages him to eat the banana. But the mum forgot he hates bananas. Whether she had bananas when she was pregnant or whatever's happened to make him hate bananas, whether it was an overripe banana when he was a 2 year old, something's happened and he hates bananas. So the teacher is encouraging him, even forcing him to eat bananas. She does. She forces him. So he's embarrassed. He's in front of all of his mates at school. He's 5 years old. He's got his mum who loves him and gives him his food. He's got the teacher saying, from a loving moment, saying, "Come on, you've got to, eat your banana. Your mum's packed it for you. There must be something good in there she wants you to have." So sadly, what happens to him, he eats the banana and then he vomits up all over the teacher's shoes. And that's a moment he'll never forget. And he was reliving that moment whilst I was just innocently opening the banana. Imagine what he feels like when he's at a party and people say, "Hey, do you want a banana smoothie?" Or he goes into a coffee shop, he's trying to order his banana, and sadly, that feeling overcomes him. This is 4 decades of pain for him, or I think he was about 55, this guy. That's 50 years, 5 decades he's had this hiding from bananas. So I've been doing this for 4 decades. It's just really interesting. I've recognized and seen lots of this sort of stuff, and I lean into this, right? I'm a trainer, right? I stick to my lane. So what I'm about to tell you is not about me being a psychologist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a human, and I've seen decades of this. So I lean in. I'm curious. I say, "George, what's going on?" And he tells me the story about why he can't eat the banana. We have a chat and we talk about it and we acknowledge it. It's not his mum's fault. It's not the teacher's fault. There's no blame. Okay, there's no blame here. We honor the memory here because memories are powerful. The association we have with food. You have association with food. I have association with food. Right. This is not the failure of anyone out there to sort of like not acknowledge this, but when we do acknowledge it, it's really interesting. Now, what usually happens, and this is the sad thing in our industry, is if he went to a normal trainer, and I'm not saying I'm abnormal, but if he went to the classic trainer, the trainer will say, "Okay, we want to increase your fruits. Got to get fruits and veggies in there." And the trainer will say, "You've got to have banana." And if you don't like eating bananas, come on in here, George. We'll do exposure therapy, and you're gonna overcome this. You got to have the power of this, you know, all the crazy stuff that the classic trainer or the nutritionist or doctor would do with George, right? But they got to stop doing this. They got to acknowledge it. Just like the other food memories we had in previous weeks, you have to acknowledge it. I said right at the beginning about the ice cream and the chocolate. He may never eat another banana again, and that's fine. Who cares? I said, that's fine, George. I said to him, that's cool. He looked at me surprised. He goes, but you're a fitness trainer. Aren't you supposed to tell me to eat healthy foods, to eat bananas? I said, mate, I'm supposed to help you get your body back. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to force you to eat foods that, traumatize you. Food has no moral judgment. There's no good or bad foods. If you go down to the supermarket aisle, it's just food. But your household picks a certain amount of food, and another household next to you picks other foods. I eat a particular food, and I eat it with maple syrup. And I went to a friend's house recently, and he has it with apple sauce, and his daughter has it with sour cream. And that's their memories and their habits that are happening. Are we, as parents, being bad to our kids for eating with maple syrup or tomato sauce? Or, it's just different habits. So you've got different habits, right? But you should be free from this 5-year-old sort of behavior, and we acknowledge that. So George can eat his banana if he wants to or not, because it's not about the banana. It's not about avoiding foods. You've got to sort of acknowledge what's happening here. That's it. So what we do on the movement here, we want to take you from the sinking feeling, where you're feeling guilty about not eating something, which what George was doing, and we want you to become in the thinking phase. And we want to acknowledge these foods and the relationships you have with foods, because food is powerful. Food has a memory, right? And that we're in the thinking part of the movement here. We acknowledge those thoughts and feelings so you can become the thinking. We want you to become the thinking. Right? We do the thinking to become the thinking. We want you all to become the thinkings. And then once we've done that, we do the walking phase. Because we want you all to become walkings. And in the walking phase, we do a thing called, you can see it up there on the screen, we do a thing called the oh God, the front door challenge. It's over there behind me, the front door challenge. And it's also on my shirt here. Wrong side. That side. The front door challenge. Because I want you guys to become front door champions and walk out the door. And every day when you do the front door challenge, we talk about things like this and we consolidate it. For every day you get 30 personal training sessions with me, and we consolidate it, and you become and do the walking, and you become the walking. And this is awesome. And what happens now is when you do this, the walking phase, it locks it in. It creates a habit. You reach for the front door, not the fridge door, and that's the walking phase. Because when you've done this, you become lighter, and that's when we do the bulking phase. So you don't have to avoid things like this, right? You don't have to avoid certain foods. You don't have to feel guilty. Like I said, you were feeling guilty and being stuck in the sinking phase, right? Because we've got those habits we form in the thinking phase in the front door challenge, and then we do the walking phase. We consolidate that, and then we start building muscles. But it's safe to build muscles now, because if you go to a gym and you're overweight and you're worried about getting on the scales, the first thing they'll probably do is get you on the scales, right? It just intimidates people, right? But your probably knees are sore, your back's sore, and they get you in the gym and they probably train you, and you feel in pain, you feel embarrassed, and you're stuck in that sinking phase. We go right back to the sinking phase. You think you're doing something good, you go right back there. So we get you out of that phase, right? We get you to lose between 5 and 10K straight away. We acknowledge the thinking phase, we do the walking phase, and then we do the bulking phase, where you go to the gym and you're already have lost weight, you're already fitter because you've done the walking, you're feeling confident, you don't have to put up with gyms which are just silly. We'll partner you with gyms which are great, so reach out to us and we'll help you build confidence in the gym when you go there, and you can become masters in your domain. You've got your food right, you've got your memories right. It's just a better way of getting success, because when you hit the gym, when you're sort of fitter, it's like cleaning the house before the cleaner gets there. When you hit the gym when you're fitter, you get a better result and you keep going. If you hit the gym now 10K heavier and you feel out of breath and you're in that sinking phase, and you haven't done the thinking phase, and you go straight to the bulking phase, it doesn't work. And you get injured and you stop going and you feel guilty for not going, and it's the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to share you a story later about what happened to me, because it's not just, the food that you guys have got. I want to share with you later about the food that I've been eating in my habits too, because it's really important to acknowledge this. And once you get through the bulking phase, which I just talked to you about the bulking phase and going to the gym, then you can get the talking phase. And the talking phase is when you start sharing with others and you recognize others are just like you. Because in the walking phase, we do in the movement, in the front door challenge there, up in the corner, and I had that bike back there, and I had my chest there. The front door challenge, becoming front door champions, you're going to do the talking phase, and you're going to start sharing it with others and hearing other people's experiments and what they've experienced, because everyone's experience is even me, right? I've done this too. I've felt exactly like you felt, right, guys? I know exactly what you're going through. Everyone's got a favorite food, right? I've got a favorite food. You've got a favorite food. We've all got favorite foods. That's what we do. We talk about that in the front door challenge, right? Because the front door challenge is all about sharing things, because we do the talking. You can see that right at the bottom of the screen. If we change one person, we can change a whole community. We do the ripple effect because we do the talking phase. Okay, so whether it's a particular food you love, or a particular food you avoid, it's the same thing. They're emotions. And I'm going to share an emotion which happened to me. I said earlier I was going to share an emotion which happened to me. I'm going to share it right now. So picture this, right? I'm driving along. Sorry, not driving along. I'm about 8 years of age, and my dad says, come on, let's go. I go, where are we going? So off we go. It's Friday. Off we go. We go for a walk, and we go to end up at a fish and chip shop. We're walking back from the fish and chip shop. One hand on him. He opens the bag. I can smell it. I can smell it now. That smell. The white paper bag. Here in Australia, they use white paper bags. And he says, put your hand in there. And I reach out a burning hot chip. I got one hand on a burning hot chip. I got one hand in his warm hand. Right? And I eat the chip. You know what happened about 20 years ago? I'm driving home. I think my dad had just passed away. I'm driving home. It's Friday night. One hand on the steering wheel. One hand in a pack with a hot chip in my hand, in my mouth. And now, that smell, I can smell it now, that feeling. You know, it's got to be on a Friday night. Even now, I have fish and chips on a Friday night. When I go pick up takeaway for the kids on Friday nights, I drive home. I eat the chips before I get home. Not all of them, but one or two chips. But now I don't consume the memory. Right? I acknowledge what's happening. I eat less of them, because my dad wasn't doing a bad thing, and I'm not doing a bad thing to my kids, and that George's mum wasn't doing a bad thing, and your parents aren't doing bad things to you. This has happened to you. I guarantee there'll be a food out there that you love and a food out there that you hate, and it's okay to acknowledge that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a blame thing. You know, once you acknowledge this, you'll never have to be worried about getting on the scales again. Never ever, right? It's just a food memory, guys. If you want to drop the memories you've got, in the comments below, so we can share it. We can do the talking. We can share this and discover what's really happening with the food and the memories. We're not psychologists. We're just human beings. We're just acknowledging this. We're not blaming anyone for this. Okay? If you can go and get a free copy of this if you want, well, I discovered a bit more. It's a free copy of my book. You can go there and get a free copy of my book. It's back there, my book, over there. And we'll talk about this stuff. We're not trying to blame anyone. Right? And when you're ready to do the challenge, if you want to do the challenge, the front door challenge, feel free to do the front door challenge. It's 30 days of training. For 30 days, you do 30 personal training sessions you're going to get from me. And it's less than $100, so it's great value. And that's the sinking phase. You go from the sinking phase to the thinking phase, which is not in there, the thinking phase. We do the walking phase, the bulking phase, and then we do the talking phase. And we change the shape of the community one man at a time. Okay? And we've all got these memories, guys. We all think we haven't, but we've all got them. Okay. We'll see less of you next time. Take care. Cheers.
You've been listening to The Men's Movement. Look forward to seeing less of you next time.